The Lauda Air 767 is less than 15 minutes into its 11-hour flight to Vienna. It's a route Niki Lauda knows firsthand because he's not just the owner of the airline. He's also one of its pilots.
When you run a company and you fly, it's very simple. Because when you are with your passengers, then you know what is going on. You can look yourself what the problems are, and I corrected things quicker in that way.
Capture 13, 5 plus 18, reserve is 20.
In the cockpit, Captain Welch and First Officer Thurner monitor their instruments, while the autopilot controls the climb. Suddenly, the plane begins dropping from the sky.
Christ! Here, wait a minute. Oh, damn it.
The pilots have lost control. Lauda Flight 4 is plummeting to Earth. The plane slams into a remote jungle, 110 miles northwest of Bangkok.
I was at home and I had a phone call from the news station here in Vienna, and they said one of the airplanes crashed.
When rescuers arrive, it's immediately obvious that there's no one to be rescued. All 213 passengers and 10 crew members are dead. The badly burned wreckage is strewn over a square mile of rough terrain.
We were confronted with what appeared to be evidence of an in-flight breakup, in that the major components, the cockpit, the tail, the main body, they were scattered far enough apart that certainly they had not come down together.
The large field of debris leaves McIntosh with little doubt. The 767 broke up in mid-air, not when it hit the ground. What could have caused that?
So it sounded like an explosion.
Witnesses say the plane blew up and came down engulfed in flames. The evidence is pointing to a troubling possibility. Lauda Air Flight 4 was brought down by a deliberate act of sabotage.
There was a lot of speculation about the possibility of a terrorist act affecting the aircraft. We didn't see any evidence of terrorism.
The black boxes may have captured important clues about the cause of the in-flight breakup, but they're badly burned. To have any hope of retrieving the data, Thai investigators need to send the boxes to a sophisticated lab. Bob McIntosh makes the case for the NTSB to get the job.
They should go to Washington.
Days after the crash, crucial pieces of the plane are still missing, including the engines.
Tracking down the wreckage at the Lauda crash site was certainly a major challenge. It was mountainous. It was totally overgrown. We climbed a mountain, went back down in a valley, and found the left engine.
Well, would you look at that?
Then investigators see something that sends a chill through the aviation world. Investigators in Thailand have made a surprising find. The thrust reverser on Flight 4's left engine is fully deployed. Investigators will have to solve the mystery without their most valuable tool. The flight data recorder is so badly burned that technicians at the NTSB can't recover any data.
The disappointment was The flight data recorder was completely destroyed, which was very unlucky.
But there's better news about the cockpit voice recorder. It has survived the fire.
Ready to go?
Investigators on both sides of the world can finally listen to the last moments of Lauda Air Flight 4.
80 knots. Check.
For me, it was very important to listen to the voice recorder, to understand things in a better way, because you need answers.
V1. Rotate.
We recognized that the first officer had been in the pilot monitoring position. The captain was flying the aircraft.
Positive rate of climb.
Gear up.
The voice recorder shows a normal takeoff and climb.
Landing gears up.
All this kind of normal communication, which I knew all the people. So for me, it was honestly hard. This was the hardest part of all my life.
We are clear to level 310 and maintaining Lauda 4.
Flight 4 climbs to 7,000 feet without a problem. A little more than 5.5 minutes into the flight, the first hint of trouble.
Scheiße.
That keeps, Let's come on.
What's come on?
Some kind of warning.
The pilots have noticed an alert that's come on in the cockpit. Could this be the clue that unlocks the mystery of Lauda Flight 4? Investigators listen as the Lauda pilots discuss a mysterious cockpit warning.
What's it saying there about that?
Additional system failures may cause in-flight deployment. Expect normal reverse operation after landing.
Stop it for a second. Additional system failures may cause in-flight deployment. He's talking about the reverser isolation valve warning.
The warning relates to a valve in the left engine's thrust reverser. The hydraulic isolation valve controls the flow of hydraulic fluid to the reversers. When it's open, the reverser can be stowed or deployed. When it's closed, the reversers won't budge.
Okay.
The crew doesn't sound worried about the warning.
The reverse isolation warning that was presented to the crew was an abnormal but not emergency issue, and it didn't require any action by the crew other than to be advised that the thrust reverse might not be available on landing.
Okay.
They did the right thing. They read the checklist, and the checklist said you can continue the flight.
Shall I ask the ground staff?
No, it's probably moisture or something. Because it's not just on, it's coming on and off.
Yeah.
It was a non-emergency issue, and they simply discussed it
You know, it doesn't really, well, it's just an advisory thing.
to make sure that they felt comfortable that it was not something that was going to interfere with the flight.
I don't, it could be some moisture in there or something.
Capture 14. 5 plus 18. Reserve is 20.
For 5 minutes, nothing happens. Then,
Reversers deployed! Oh, Christ!